working in the spirit of the Golden Empire. This is 17 News at Sunrise.
Good morning. Right now at 5, the coronavirus spreads in China and the death toll rises. How airlines and health officials around the world are responding and what local disease control experts say you should do.
A new bill takes up the controversial question of whether 18 or 19-year-olds should be tried as adults or if that's unfair. We'll tell you what the bill would change if voted into law.
Plus, the impeachment trial enters a new phase now that the president's defense has wrapped. Questioning begins, and the question remains whether witnesses will be called. We'll take you to Washington for the latest. This is Wednesday, January 29th, 2020. Good morning, 5 a.m. Good to have you with us. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher, and we're getting a few calls into our newsroom this morning asking if we felt an earthquake. Here in studio, we didn't, but apparently there was one.
Yeah, there's a magnitude 3.3 earthquake. It looks like the Oildale area. It happened at 4:56, so about 4 or 5 minutes ago. And again, relatively small earthquake here, so a lot of people did not feel it. But I think if you were laying in bed, if you were very still, you may have felt maybe something.
If you were already awake,
if you were already awake, we checked moments ago. Our lights here in the studio were not moving at all. Again, it's a relatively small earthquake, but according to the USGS, a 3.0 to a 3.5, it can be felt if you are really near the epicenter, and you can hear some rattling as well. So again, this is the epicenter looks like it was in Oildale. It happened around 4:56 this morning. And again, a 3.3, relatively small. But if you were near the epicenter, you probably did feel it.
Yeah, let us know. Meantime, we're talking your forecast. And as Kevin heads back from Tahoe, Vanessa is in this morning with your weather. Good morning, Vanessa.
Good morning, guys. Yep, we're looking at beautiful conditions today. Definitely a switch up from what we saw last week. Today we're expecting to see sunny skies, a clear up compared to what we saw this Sunday. We saw some slight drizzle and some slight rain. Right now, as far as today's high goes, we are expecting to see about 57 degrees. And then currently, if you are making your way outdoors, we are seeing 48 here in the city, 86% humidity levels, calm winds, and we're expecting to see some patchy fog. So if you are making your way out the doors and traveling anywhere anytime soon, it's going to be pretty foggy out there. So just keep that in mind. In our outdoor forecast, we're expecting to see chilly conditions pretty much throughout the day, all the way into this evening, a high of 55 degrees by tonight. And we're also expecting to see Tehachapi 39 degrees, pretty humid out there. We're seeing a dew point of 39, west winds going at 14 miles per hour. Chilly conditions too. We're seeing some slight patchy fog, some cloud coverage in those early morning hours, and then we start to see a clear up. And we're looking at those high 40s going into later this afternoon, and then we see a high of 50 by 3 o'clock. Looking at things start to get a little cooler by those later evening hours at 45 degrees by 5 o'clock tonight. We are seeing sunny skies this week, some chances of drizzle next week. I'll get into the details coming up in just a little bit. Right now I'm going to send it over to Alex for a look at traffic.
All right, Vanessa, thank you so much. And take you outside for the first time this morning. Here's a look at the 99 at Airport Drive. The great news to talk about this morning is that fog is not an issue here in Kern County, or at least in the greater Bakersfield area, which is great news, especially if you're headed out up north and through town. And things are looking pretty good outside for the most part. We'll have another check coming up in about 15 minutes. Your time now is 5:03 and new this morning. Nearly 6,000 cases of the coronavirus are being reported around the globe.
This all according to Chinese health officials who now report a growing death toll. Nearly 6,000 cases of the coronavirus are being reported. Most of them are in China. Cases are also popping up in Taiwan, Germany, Vietnam, and Japan. People infected in those countries had not traveled to China. The United States has 5 confirmed cases, 2 of which are in California. Now, a third person in San Diego is being tested for the virus, but it is not a confirmed case. So far, no deaths were reported outside of China. Airlines are canceling or reducing the number of flights there, and health officials are warning people to avoid any unnecessary travel to and from China.
As we just told you, there are 2 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Southern California, in LA and Orange counties. But what does that mean for us here in Kern County, being about a 2-hour drive away? Health officials in Kern County say it is unlikely we will see a case here. Meadowsfield does not receive passengers directly from China, and we don't have much industry overlap with Wuhan. But if you're concerned, here are a few tips from public health.
Washing your hands, using alcohol-based hand sanitizer, limiting your contact with people who are ill, staying home if you are ill, covering your cough and sneeze.
Public Health has a communication plan in place with local health providers and organizations like schools and law enforcement should a case enter in Kern County.
And amid fears over the coronavirus, the United States is allowing some U.S. citizens in China to return home.
A flight carrying hundreds of American evacuees from China landed in Anchorage, Alaska late last night. And moments ago, we learned all passengers on that plane passed health tests.
That's good news.
Officials say about 200 passengers were on board. The U.S. government chartered the plane to fly diplomats and other U.S. citizens out of the city. The plane refueled in Alaska before flying to March Air Reserve Base in Riverside County.
Making news around the state this morning, a new bill in the state aims to have people under 21 tried as juveniles in court. The bill was authored by Senator Nancy Skinner of Berkeley. Skinner says people under 21 tried for crimes in court still need guidance, adding that treating 18 or 19-year-olds as adults makes no sense. She cited other laws that set restrictions on purchasing tobacco, cannabis, or alcohol that require a person to be 21 as the adult or responsible age. Like other reform efforts, it's likely that if the bill were to pass, it would face exceptions for serious crimes. The bill has support from Senate probation officers.
Jury deliberations continue today in the trial of Leslie Chance, the former elementary school principal accused of killing her husband. Yesterday, the jury sent a note to the judge asking for a readback of the testimony of Chance and two of her daughters. Jurors started deliberating January 22nd. But they were forced to start over on Monday after a juror was excused due to financial hardship. An alternate juror was brought in. Chance is accused of killing her husband, Todd, in August 2013 and dumping his body in an almond orchard.
2 people are recovering this morning after they were hit by a suspected drunk driver in Northeast Bakersfield. It happened around 6:40 last night on River Boulevard and Knott Street. CHP says the driver of the SUV was turning onto Knotts when he hit 2 people in a crosswalk. The people suffered minor injuries. The driver was arrested on suspicion of DUI.
Police in Delano and Bakersfield are searching for a missing 12-year-old girl. Anna Maciel disappeared around 9:30 Monday night from her home in Delano. It's believed she may have come to Bakersfield. Police say she has run away from home before. If you've seen her or know where she is, call Delano Police at 721-3377.
Young and old gathered to enjoy cookies and conversation with police in Delano yesterday. Coffee with a Cop was held at Starbucks on Glenwood Street. Community members got a chance to talk with officers while enjoying free coffee and cookies. Kids, meantime, brushed up on their creativity with some coloring activities.
All right, your time now is 5:08, and people across the state are mourning the loss of Kobe Bryant.
When we come back, 17's Nick James takes a look inside a local fan's Lakers man cave.
Working in the spirit of the Golden Empire, this is 17 News with Maddie Jansen, Alex Fisher, and Kevin Charette with your Pinpoint Doppler forecast. This is 17 News at Sunrise.
Welcome back here at 511. Barbies are known for getting makeovers, but this time the toys are evolving to better reflect the children who play with them. Barbie says the new release of toys is the brand's most diverse doll line yet. Some of the new Barbies have rainbow-colored hair or no hair at all. Others have wheelchairs or prosthetic limbs. They come in varied skin tones. One doll even has vitiligo. Barbie says on its website the dolls are to add more diversity for endless storytelling possibilities. Mattel's been criticized in the past for its unrealistic portrayal of beauty. So really branching out this morning. Pretty cool. Bringing it back here, and we're still talking about that little earthquake. We're talking with a few people on social media who say, oh, I swear I felt an earthquake. Well, you're not crazy.
You're not crazy.
You did. It was small in Oildale. And, you know, we're pretty close to Oildale here in downtown, and we have all of these, like, hanging lights.
That was our cue to see if we felt it, but we didn't feel anything.
No, we actually had someone reach out to us and say that they didn't actually feel it, but they heard the windows rattle. Let's give a little bit of more perspective on where this earthquake was centered, the epicenter. It looks like, according to the USGS, it was off of Seven Sisters Road. That's just north of Manor Street. So definitely a lot of neighborhoods in that area. So if you were close to that that street, you probably definitely felt it.
Heard your windows rattling.
Oh, for sure.
That's a real thing. Yeah, you definitely feel, at least if you don't feel it, you hear that rumbling.
Especially in the middle of the night. If you're, I think if you're really close to that area, you probably heard it more than you felt it. But if you're close to that epicenter, I mean, you're definitely, it's going to wake you up. It's going to startle you.
Either that or if you're awake, probably.
Yeah, for sure. But luckily, it's just a 3.3, very small, and again, we'll continue to monitor it. But that's the latest on that.
Definitely. All right, well, let's take a look at our forecast for today. At least we are expecting to see chilly conditions on this day. We are seeing 48 here in the city, 86% humidity levels. Pretty calm winds. We're not seeing too severe conditions, although we are seeing some patchy fog making its way into the city. And it's going to linger into this morning through later today. We're expecting to see it clear up around the afternoon time. So we're just seeing it pretty much in that region, even in the Kern Mountains and the region in the city. Current conditions, we're seeing 48 here in the city, 49 in Arvin, 39 Tehachapi, looking at 43 in Lake Isabella, 30 in Ridgecrest. As far as our weather headlines go today, we are expecting to see gusty winds over the Kern Mountains and desert, gusts around 50 miles per hour, and we're expecting to also see some cloudier conditions in the Tehachapi Mountains, so just keep that in mind. It could possibly affect your commute if you are traveling a longer distance. It might be slightly cloudy out there for you. Regionally, we're seeing 46 in Fresno, pretty much 40, 65 in Los Angeles, Southern California, 54 in San Diego. Our air quality for today is good at 50 AQI, so just keep that in mind. We're expecting to see also some clearing as far as cloud coverage goes today. As I mentioned, some foggy conditions lingering this morning. We're seeing those mid to high 50s across the board. Also expecting calm winds here, 54 in Taft, 56 in Buttonwillow, looking at 56 in Delano. And of course, we see things get chillier in those later evening hours, expecting those high 30s, even low 40s. AM fog as well in the mountains. We're expecting to see some slightly heavier wind coverage, northwest winds at 5 to 15 miles per hour. Expecting some breezier conditions too. Looking at those 50s, low 50s, even high 40s across the board, 58 in Lake Isabella, 59 in Kernville. And of course, it gets chillier in those later evening hours, but we're seeing some lingering clouds, and then we see that sun come up in those afternoon hours. In the desert, we're seeing northeast winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour, also increasing to 15 to 20 miles per hour, gusts reaching up to 30 miles per hour. So it's going to be breezier in the desert. Just make note of that too. Looking at those low 60s across the board and mid 30s in the evening. In the valley forecast, we can anticipate to see some sunny skies, so definitely different from what we saw last week. We saw rain make its way into our region on Sunday, and now we're seeing pretty much sunny skies until next Monday. We're seeing some slight chances of drizzle, about 20%, and we're seeing a high of 57 degrees, but then it starts to clear up by next Tuesday. We're staying pretty steady in those 40s. When it starts to get later, we're expecting to see 40s across the board. And then in the mountains, similar conditions. We're expecting to see windy conditions by this weekend, breezy as well. Some slight chances of showers, but it's looking pretty unlikely currently. For the most part, we can look forward to sunny skies across the board and those 50s, even 40s in those evening hours. In the Kern Valley forecast, sunny skies too, so it's something to look forward to. We saw definitely a fluctuation of conditions last week. We saw some sunny skies, some breezier conditions, even a lot of fog in those morning hours. We're just expecting to see fog into our region today, but for the most part, it's looking sunny. We're even seeing a gorgeous weekend, 74 degrees by this Saturday, so it's looking good for us, guys. We're expecting to see beautiful conditions throughout this week.
If you're going to barbecue for Super Bowl
Sunday. Yeah, there you go.
Beautiful weather.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much, Vanessa. Let's take a look at your morning commute. Like Vanessa said, the fog isn't too bad of an issue right now. Let's take you outside to the 99 near White Lane, and very quiet on that side of town. And it looks like the morning commute is well underway, and it's looking pretty good across town for the most part. There is one traffic hazard that's just being reported within the last few minutes or so on the southbound lanes of the 99 at Sherwood Avenue. It looks like a street light is blocking the lanes. So we will keep you updated on that and see if it's going to be too much of an issue for you. But if you are headed that way, just keep that in mind that CHP is on scene and responding, trying to make sure that that traffic hazard has been removed. We'll have another chat coming up in about 13 minutes.
5:17 now. Are you going on a trip next month?
You're not alone. Why travel rates are expected to shoot up in February.
We're back here at 5:19. The death of Kobe Bryant is still sinking in for many people.
Here in Bakersfield, many are devastated by the loss. 17's Nick James spoke with a devoted fan, father, and man of God about Kobe's legacy.
Wow, that's a strange break. Three, Bryant. Yes, sir.
The man cave for Lakers fan Travis Gollerer is covered in purple and gold.
Kobe was one of those players where you'll never forget. And he wasn't just a basketball player, he was more than that. Losing his daughter, his 13-year-old, that really makes this, worse, if it can be worse. So it was really hard, but yeah, my girls, were very emotional at the same time.
Gollerer has been a Lakers fan from the opening tip.
I wrote as a kid in the 6th, 7th grade, I wrote to the Laker organization and just asked for autographs and whatever media they can give me, or stickers or anything. Just a little kid. It started from that, and they wrote back to me, and they gave me autographs, and they gave me, what they could.
Lakers! The torch and Mamba mentality sits in LeBron James' hands.
It was important to Kobe for LeBron to carry it on. He knew the importance of it, just like Magic taught him.
Will the Lakers win the NBA title this year? Only time will tell.
It's only going to fuel them to win it. I think they would do it for Kobe. I think now, more than ever, the whole team will get on the same page, and I'm sure LeBron will say, look, it's Kobe or nothing. We're doing it for him.
Along with Travis, here in Bakersfield and millions across the world will miss number 24 and his daughter Gigi, who wore number 2, died on Sunday, January 26th.
That was 17 Sports Director Nick James reporting. A local man is using his talents to create a mural honoring Kobe Bryant and his daughter Gianna. Dash Baltazar has been painting murals for 15 years all over the state. Baltazar and the owner of the restaurant where he's creating this mural came up with the idea that the painting would be of Kobe dunking on a court, but when the tragic news of his death broke, they decided it should be a mural of legacy and love.
We're just going to paint Kobe alongside with his daughter, where they're actually together holding hands.
Baltasar adds both will be facing away, showcasing their jerseys and walking into heaven together. To see the mural in person, head to El Mariscos El Efectivo restaurant on 1821 Chester Avenue.
Taking you out live to the Hard Rock Stadium in Miami as Super Bowl 54 nears. It is happening on Sunday. And this year, Bakersfield will be represented on the field. DJ Reed plays for the San Francisco 49ers. This is his second season with the team. Reed graduated from Independence High School in 2014, and now he's gearing up for Sunday's big game.
It's going to be fun. Offensively, Pat Mahomes, he's an animal. He's a great quarterback. And he has, a lot of dynamic weapons, from tight ends to all the receivers pretty much. So it's going to be very fun, and it's going to be a challenge, but we're looking forward to it.
Just a reminder, the Super Bowl is Sunday, and we're gearing up for it. Saturday night, 17's Taylor Schaub has a 30-minute special dedicated to the big game. You can watch it Saturday night at 6:30 on TV 17.
5:23 now, a college football coach suspended this week.
What the coach said about Adolf Hitler, that got him into trouble. No. I'll just sit. I'm just trying to grab this really quick from more content from another workspace. No, I don't know if we ever found out what he said. And then you just drag it in here?
Well, let me see, where is it? Where'd you find it?
It's this
Yeah,
one
then
right
just
here.
drag it.
Just drag it in here.
Mhm.
Okay.
So you're going to talk about it first?
Yeah. And then during the stinger, then you can advance it.
Okay. Do you know how to work it? I don't know how to work it.
Yeah, I do. There we go. Look at that.
Oh, yeah. Remember when Ridgecrest happened? It was full.
I know, it was
dots.
crazy.
So this is a little one, this one.
My question is, what is the red dot? It's.
I think that's the earthquake, right?
Yeah, but it's like.
Oh, it keeps moving. Where'd it go?
Keeps moving. Hello.
Oh, that's the epicenter.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. Travel in the month of February will be about 8% higher in 2020 compared to last year. That's according to a new survey by TripAdvisor. With the Super Bowl, Valentine's Day, and President's Day taking place in February, it is predicted to be a busy travel month for Americans. And then Valentine's Day falls on Friday this year, and then Monday is President's Day, the following Monday. 1/3 of those planning to travel plan to do so that weekend. 27% are taking a romantic trip. That's up 15% from last year. United Airlines is canceling some of its flights due to the coronavirus. The temporary move affects 24 round trips. They're between the U.S. and 3 cities in China during the first week of February. The airline cites low demand for the routes to Beijing, Hong Kong, and Shanghai. American Airlines, Delta, and United Airlines have been waiving fees for travel changes stemming from the virus. These flight cancellations represent an escalated response. British Airways is also taking measures against the coronavirus by canceling all of its flights to China. British Airways normally has daily flights to Shanghai and Beijing from Heathrow in London. Efforts to contain the virus continue. Starbucks announced it would close shops and suspend services to its stores located in the city of Wuhan due to the spread of the virus. As of this morning, Starbucks had closed nearly half of its roughly 4,300 Chinese stores. The company said it continues to monitor and modify the operating hours of all stores in China in light of the outbreak. Starbucks CEO promised transparency as to the company's response to the extraordinary circumstances. Starbucks does expect to take a hit in the second quarter of this fiscal year.
5:27, still ahead in our next half hour on Sunrise. Another day of Senate impeachment trial begins this morning in Washington.
What you can expect coming up after the break.